In the year 2148, everything changed. A massive rift known as the Void Abyss split the sky open. It descended upon the world like a nightmare, tearing through reality and cities alike. Humanity wasn't just surviving anymore. Everyone on the planet was forced to become a player in a global game. People were left in a panic, staring at blue screens that appeared out of nowhere as their lives turned into stats. To find the truth, they had to move forward. Brave souls began to explore the depths of the Void Abyss, risking everything to reach the unknown. Rumors spread like wildfire: clear the abyss, and you could get anything your heart desired. It offered status and more wealth than anyone could spend in a lifetime. It even offered the chance to extend your own lifespan, turning the dying into the youthful. At the very top was the ultimate prize, the authority of the gods themselves. With the stage set, the system officially announced the start of the game. Fast forward to 2268, at the entrance of the 5th floor, where a young man is slumped over, barely conscious. A group of explorers spots him. They immediately assume he's just some bottom-tier scavenger who couldn't find a party to carry him. Fangian walks over and delivers a sharp kick to the side, telling the guy he can't sleep there. The young man's eyes flicker open, showing a sharp, focused gaze that doesn't fit a scavenger. Lindu looks up and weakly asks what year it is. Fangian laughs, telling him it's 2268, and mocking him for being a filthy bumpkin who doesn't know the basics. The realization hits Lindu hard. He's been out for 100 years. He can't believe how much time has passed while he was asleep. One of the squad members, Lu Renbing, gets bored and pops a detection skill to see what they're dealing with. The results are pathetic. Lindu is level 0 with a hidden class. It's a combination that looks completely useless. The squad nearly loses it, laughing at the idea of a level 0 nobody sneaking his way onto the 5th floor. Nearby players watch from a distance, whispering about how this newbie is absolutely finished. They know the Goshawk squad isn't a group you want to mess with. One of them asks if they should help, but the other quickly shuts it down. Nobody wants to bring that kind of trouble on themselves. Fangian boasts about their status as an elite squad serving under Lord Gu Yunting, using the name to intimidate him. The mention of Gu Yunting makes Lindu's expression go dark. The name of the man who betrayed him still carries weight in this new world. A twisted smile starts to spread across Lindu's face. He bursts out into a manic laugh. He can't believe that bastard is actually still alive after a century. Lindu stands up, and suddenly the air in the cave feels a lot heavier. He looks at them with a murderous intent that silences the laughter. The bullies are taken aback by the look in his eyes. There's an intensity there that shouldn't belong to a level 0. Feeling disrespected, Fangian draws his sword, ready to show this nobody what a real level gap looks like. He swings his blade in a wide arc, aiming to cut Lindu down where he stands. A sharp metallic snap rings out as Lindu catches the sword bare-handed, stopping the momentum dead. With a single, effortless motion, he snaps the blade and crushes Fangian's arm. The bully lets out a blood-curdling scream as his HP starts to plummet. Lindu looks down at him, comparing the Goshawk squad to a bunch of disgusting flies. Fangian is in shock, unable to understand how someone at level 0 could move with such overwhelming speed. He screams for his squad to attack, and the other two draw their weapons, hesitant but forced into action. Lindu's eyes flare with red light as he prepares to dismantle the rest of the group. He moves like a ghost, knocking the entire squad back in a single blur of motion. A boot slams down onto the back of Fangian's head, pinning him to the rocky ground. Lindu stands over them, nodding that he was clearing dungeons before these kids were even born. He leans in with a sinister grin, mentioning that their talk about stripping gear gave him a great idea. Fangian can only stare up in horror, realizing he's completely at the mercy of a monster. The scene turns into a chaotic cloud of dust as Lindu follows through on his plan, looting every valuable item they have while they beg him to stop. Lindu leaves the bullies in nothing but their underwear, sobbing over their lost gear. They can't believe the items they spent months grinding for were snatched away in an instant. He looks over the loot with a look of pure disgust, calling it D-rank trash you find at a flea market. He can't wrap his head around how a basic C-rank necklace is worth nearly 200 gold in this era of ridiculous inflation. As he starts to head out, a young girl with silver twin tails calls out to him. He doesn't even look back, simply dismissing the encounter as better than nothing. Su Qingyu watched the whole fight and is clearly impressed, but Lin Du just wonders if he's about to get even more free gear from a new challenger. She introduces herself as Su Qingyu from the Red Lion Guild, trying to sound professional despite her obvious excitement. She tells him how cool he was back there, saying the Goshawk squad had it coming for all the weak players they've bullied. Lin Du lets out a sigh of disappointment. He was actually hoping she was there to pick a fight so he could loot more gear. He keeps walking without a second thought, leaving the recruiter to chase after him while shouting for him to wait up. She begs him not to leave so soon, offering him anything from a spot in her team to money and high-tier intel. She hits the jackpot when she mentions Gu Yunting, having noticed how much he reacted to that name at the entrance. She claims to know quite a bit about the God of Purity and his legendary exploits over the years. That does the trick. Lin Du stops in his tracks with a sharp look, suddenly very interested in whatever information she might have. Cut to a damp cave, where the ground is already littered with the corpses of several massive wolves. A level 18 demon wolf lunges out of the shadows, its eyes glowing with a feral orange light as it snarls. Su Qingyu shouts a warning, but Lin Du is already moving before the words even leave her mouth. His eyes flare with a cold blue aura, his focus sharpening as the monster closes the distance. With a single fluid motion, he slashes through multiple wolves at once, leaving nothing but streaks of light in his wake. Su Qingyu is left speechless, checking her own stats as a level 34 assassin, and realizing this newbie is somehow faster than her. She can't believe the amount of experience they've gained in just one afternoon. It's more than her entire team usually gets in a week. She demands to know how a level 0 can have this much combat experience, even suspecting he's using some kind of item to hide his true power. Another wolf tries its luck from behind, diving straight for Lin Du's head with its jaws wide open. Without even looking back, Lin Du drives his blade through the beast's mouth, ending it instantly. He tells her to shut up and get to the point, reminding her that the only reason he's helping her farm materials is for the intel she promised. Su Qingyu pouts as he walks away, telling him he's way too impatient for his own good. She asks him point-blank if he has a personal grudge against Gu Yunting, recalling his reaction from earlier. She mentions hearing him say how the top player screwed him over, but the idea seems almost impossible to her. She explains that Gu Yunting isn't just anyone. He's the level 199 top player and the representative of the God of Purity himself. Back in 2148, the world was thrown into total chaos when the game system first took over reality. During that era of panic, a mysterious figure known as the Special Guide Writer emerged to show humanity the way. He gathered the strongest players and formed a legendary team called Firmament to face the Abyss head-on. They were the first to truly challenge the Void Abyss, paving the path for everyone who followed. Su Qingyu gets stars in her eyes as she admits to being a massive fan of that legendary guide writer. She believes that Firmament was only the strongest team because they had him leading them from the front. She quickly apologizes for geeking out, noting that almost all records and images of the man have been erased over time. Lin Du listens in silence, a heavy shadow falling over his eyes as he thinks about the man she's describing. He knows exactly who the guide writer was, because he was the one who led those legendary players a century ago. Long before he was a forgotten legend, he was just a man standing at the top of the world with a sword in his hand. Even before the Void Abyss descended, Lin Du was already a hardcore gamer who spent his life conquering virtual worlds. He was actually the first person in the world to clear a game on its ultimate difficulty, earning a single wish from the system. At the time, he thought it was just a secret Easter egg left behind by the developers for the top player. A prompt appeared on his screen, asking him to enter his heart's deepest desire as his reward. Having nothing better to do with his life, he jokingly wished for the real world to become as interesting as a game. Lin Du's finger descends toward the keyboard, his mind stuck on the thought that this entire system was just some developer's fun little Easter egg. He watches from a high balcony as brilliant blue light cascades down upon the city, signaling the end of the world as he knew it. He takes a step forward, his simple slipper crushing a small rock as the blue energy begins to crackle around him. His mouth hangs open in a rare moment of genuine shock, as the sky itself seems to fracture and rewrite reality. The screen fades to black with a chilling realization. The world he lived in had actually transformed into a living, breathing game. Lindu leads his firmament squad into the fray, his blade cutting through hordes of demonic beasts as they fight to uncover the abyss's secrets. Amidst the chaos of battle, his expression is one of fierce determination, shouting orders as the team pushes deeper into the rift. It took a decade of blood and sweat, but they finally stood before the ultimate challenge at the final stage of the void abyss. A divine golden plaque appears before them, congratulating them on being the first players to ever clear the 100th floor. Lindu and his comrades are bathed in the blinding light of the gods, each one being granted the authority of a different divine entity. In the present, Su Qingyu trails behind Lindu, recounting the legendary tale of how Firmament became the first agents of the gods. She explains that the power transfer wasn't perfect. The sudden influx of divine authority caused a catastrophic surge of energy. A haunting silhouette of the squad's captain is shown being torn apart by golden light, as he reportedly sacrificed himself to save his team. Lindu's eyes flare with a dangerous red glow, his voice dropping to a low, icy tone as he repeats the lie he's just been told. Su Qingyu nods frantically, covering her mouth as she confirms that this was the story told by all 6 of the surviving lords. Disgust washes over Lindu's face as he realizes they even built a memorial monument for the man they betrayed. Their conversation is cut short by a massive tremor that sends a plume of dust and rock exploding into the air. Out of the gloom emerges a terrifying nightmare, the Shadow Spider, a level 55 hidden boss lurking in the shadows. Lindu doesn't even flinch, his mind still fixated on his vow to mount Gu Yunting's head on that very memorial. Su Qingyu is paralyzed with fear, screaming at the top of her lungs about a high-level boss appearing on such a low floor. The monster's massive, serrated leg comes crashing down, and Su Qingyu desperately begs Lindu to move. A shockwave of blue and white energy erupts as the spider strikes, and Su Qingyu fears the worst as she cries out Lindu's name. Lindu stands his ground, easily parrying the blow with one hand while complaining about how loud Su Qingyu's screaming is. He looks at the shadow spider with bored eyes, remembering that he was the one who wrote the world's very first strategy guide on its species. He mocks the beast for still relying on its predictable habit of launching sneak attacks after all these years. With a sudden burst of speed, he shatters the monster's initial assault, his fist wreathed in a faint blue aura. Lindu stands tall in the middle of the cave, a smug grin playing on his lips as he prepares to exploit every mechanic he knows by heart. The shadow spider let out a deafening roar, its multiple red eyes glowing with murderous intent as it prepares its next attack. It unleashes a concentrated blast of energy, but Lindu is already a blur, dodging the projectile with ease. He slides across the rocky floor, explaining that the spider is essentially blind and relies solely on air vibrations to track its prey. The massive arachnid turns its head, sensing the disturbance but unable to pinpoint Lindu's exact location. Lindu realizes that as long as he maintains his current speed, he can effectively jam the creature's senses. Frustrated, the spider activates its lethal skill, Silk Array Severing, filling the entire cavern with crisscrossing beams of energy. The purple rays of light carve through the stone, but Lindu dances between them with the grace of an expert player. Su Qingyu cringes and shields her head, convinced that they are both about to be sliced into pieces. Lindu performs a series of gravity-defying flips, his body weaving through the deadly laser-like silk without a scratch. He looks back at the beast with a mocking smile, nodding that while the skill's damage is high, its fatal flaw is painfully obvious. The spider can only stare in confusion, as Lindu stands perfectly still between the beams, having already memorized every fixed path. He sighs with mock disappointment, telling the boss that it hasn't improved its tactics in the slightest since he last fought it. Lin Du holds out a hand, disrupting the air currents and creating a localized storm that leaves the spider completely disoriented. He draws his weapon, his eyes glowing with a cold light as he declares the monster nothing more than a sitting duck. With a single, massive horizontal slash, he cleaves the shadow spider in half, the blue energy trail marking its end. Lin Du stands victoriously over the bisected remains of the shadow spider, his blade still drawn. Su Qingyu watches from a distance, completely stunned by the sudden conclusion of the fight. A bead of sweat rolls down Su Qingyu's face as she stares at Lin Du with wide eyes. She can hardly believe the speed and precision of his movements. In a hazy flashback to the world's early history, Su Qingyu remembers the tales of the legendary guide writer. The way Lin Du stands, wreathed in the same fierce energy, makes the connection undeniable in her mind. Bathed in the settling dust and fatting energy of the battle, Lin Du radiates the presence of a top-tier veteran. Despite his supposed low level, he looks every bit the master he once was. In a small, comical aside, Lin Du explains the spider's simple biological weak point to a bewildered Su Qingyu. She can only stutter in response, her brain struggling to process the technical details. Su Qingyu's disbelief boils over as she shouts about him taking 0 damage from a level 55 boss. Lin Du simply crouches by the monster's head, asking if she really thought such a basic fight would be difficult. She throws her hands up in frustration, exclaiming that for normal players, a boss like that is a literal death sentence. The gap between their perceptions of difficulty is vast. Lin Du casually stands back up, spinning a sharp, crimson spider leg between his fingers. He looks entirely unimpressed by the legendary trophy he just acquired. He tosses the rare material towards Su Qingyu, telling her it's the specific upgrade part she was looking for. He notes that its high agility stats make it the perfect fit for an assassin-class player. Su Qingyu catches the shadow spider leg with trembling hands, her eyes fixed on the rare loot notification. She realizes this item never dropped for her before because it was hidden behind a boss she couldn't see. With the loot distributed, Lin Du turns his back and begins walking deeper into the cave. He declares that their temporary partnership has reached its natural conclusion. Su Qingyu quickly chases after him, her initial shock replaced by a desperate need to recruit him. She begs him to consider joining the Red Lion Guild, promising that they can negotiate any salary he wants. Lin Du doesn't even slow down, offering a blunt refusal over his shoulder. He waves a hand dismissively, telling her he'll see her around before disappearing into the shadows. Su Qingyu stands frozen, a cold sweat breaking out as she feels an overwhelming pressure emanating from his departing figure. She can't help but wonder who Lin Du really is and what kind of monster she just met. Reaching the entrance to the 6th floor of the Void Abyss, Lin Du finally enjoys a moment of silence. His thoughts drift back to his primary goal, finding and taking revenge on Gu Yunting and his other betrayers. He summons his digital interface with a flick of his wrist, his expression turning serious. He needs to understand why his current status is being reported as level 0 despite his past power. The blue system panels flicker rapidly, scrolling through lines of complex code and data strings. A series of messages appear, indicating that the system has detected a major anomaly in his player profile. A bright red warning box suddenly overrides the display, flashing a critical error message. The system is apparently unable to calculate or display the specific values of his attributes. The final status window is a mess of question marks, showing no data for his class or primary combat statistics. Only his name and the mysterious LV0 status remain visible. Lin Du stands alone in the cavernous hallway, his chin resting in his hand as he contemplates the bizarre results. The silence of the 6th floor is punctuated only by the soft hum of his malfunctioning interface. He muses that while being level 0 is a significant handicap, the fact that his entire profile is hidden is even more concerning. He tries to rationalize the situation, but the lack of information is frustrating. His calm exterior finally cracks as he yells at the empty air, his hands outspread in disbelief. He demands to know where his actual stats are and why the system is being so uncooperative. As if responding to his outburst, the blue status screen begins to warp and glitch with violent red static. A large warning exclamation mark appears, signaling that the system is entering a critical state. The entire interface turns a deep, ominous red, completely overtaken by a massive system-wide warning. The data is lost in a sea of digital noise, leaving Lin Du's true power a complete mystery. Lin Du stares in disbelief as red static starts glitching all over his interface. He's definitely not looking at a normal system error. A glowing red sigil flares up on his arm, and a voice starts mocking him right inside his head. It calls him an ungrateful brat, wondering if he really thought his interface had just come to life on its own. The red sigil hovers in front of him like a watchful eye. The voice tells him he needs a reminder about the contract he signed back in the day. Pain suddenly flares up in his neck, making him double over and clutch his throat. It feels like he's being branded from the inside out. When he pulls his hand away, a glowing red mark is etched permanently into his skin. The voice tells him not to worry, it's just proof of the deal they made. Standing in a sea of red data, Lin Du realizes his memories of the fall weren't a hallucination. The voice warns him that the mark is harmless, provided he doesn't try to defy his master. His thoughts shift back to a century ago, right after his team turned on him. He remembers falling into the death zone at the very bottom of the abyss. As he tumbled through the void, reality itself seemed to break apart into scrambled code and raw data. It was there that he encountered the true source of Earth's transformation. Looming over everything was the culprit, the massive, demonic entity responsible for turning the world into a deadly game. Meet Ymir, a literal god and one massive problem. Standing right in front of him is Lin Du, looking like an ant by comparison. The big guy just floats there with a 100% health bar, looking completely bored. Lin Du stares up at him. Something about this monster feels familiar. Then he realizes why. This is the same secret boss he beat back when this whole world was just a video game. He can't believe his eyes. He remembers making a wish to make the world as fun as a game. But seeing the void abyss actually happen makes him think he screwed everything up. Ymir doesn't move, just looms there while his health bar stays locked at full. The god lets out a creepy grin, showing off a mouthful of sharp teeth. Lin Du just laughs. The situation is so crazy he can't help it. He starts gathering energy in his hand. God or not, he's ready to throw down. His own health is crashing, already under 5%. He pops his undaunted skill to lock his HP and keep himself in the fight. He follows up with Blink Strike, redlining his speed and doubling his critical damage. Then he triggers Berserk, shattering his stat caps and tripling his power. He lets loose with a 1,000-blade strike, a storm of slashes that starts tearing through Ymir's armor. He's got one rule: if it has a health bar, he can kill it. He hits the god from every direction, his blades becoming a blur of red light. He puts every bit of strength he has into the assault. He backs off, gasping for air. Ymir is covered in glowing red wounds, looking like he's taken a beating. It worked. The god's health is down to a measly 8%. But Lin Du isn't celebrating yet. It felt a little too easy. Suddenly, a massive tremor shakes the entire area. Ymir slowly raises his hand. Lin Du's expression changes. Something is very wrong. The god points directly at his own health bar. He taps the numbers with his finger. The 8% starts glitching and flickering out of existence. It's replaced by something much worse, an infinity symbol. Ymir just smiles, pointing at the new number like it's a funny prank. Lin Du starts sweating. Infinite health, that's basically cheating. The scale of the fight just changed completely. Ymir reaches out with his massive hand. A huge shockwave slams into Lin Du, throwing him across the void. Error messages flash everywhere. His buffs are forcibly dispelled and he's coughing up blood. He hits the floor hard, his health dropping to nearly zero. Ymir just grins. He wasn't even trying before, he was just toying with his prey. Lin Du struggles to even move, hacking and coughing on the ground. But then he starts to chuckle. He isn't done yet. He looks up with a bloody smile. He's got one last card to play. He activates Terminal Echo. It burns his stats and his remaining life to force one massive, guaranteed hit. A pillar of light blasts out through Lin Du's chest, aimed straight for Ymir. The god's smug grin finally disappears as he screams in agony. The final blast cracks the very foundation of the space. Alarms scream that the core data is critically damaged and everything is about to collapse. Lin Du falls through the void, his body torn apart by the energy. Even the god Ymir can't withstand it, his form breaking down as he's forced into dormancy. Lin Du floats in the collapsing digital abyss, bleeding from everywhere and barely holding onto his consciousness. In his final moments, his mind drifts back to the betrayal that started it all, trusted comrades stabbing him in the back. He's ended up in this godforsaken place just to be a plaything for Ymir. He put everything he had into that one last strike, and all it did was buy some time. He closes his eyes, disgusted that it's all ending like this. His body starts to pixelate as he fades away. What a total ripoff of a life. A system window pops up, cold and mechanical, player death detected, commencing recovery. His spirit drifts in the darkness. He's surprisingly calm about death, mostly just annoyed he won't get to kill Gu Yunting or Ymir. Out of the shadows, a voice calls out to him, telling him he's still got one more chance. Lin Du looks up, seeing a strange light appearing before him. A voice asks if he's really ready to accept this end. A massive, glowing red eye opens in the void. It tells him that it too once refused to accept its fate. Lin Du isn't even surprised anymore. He just wants to know what this thing is and if the surprises ever stop. The consciousness explains that it's a prisoner here, and it's finally found a fracture in the seal that was holding it back. It offers him a deal for the revenge he craves, a contract written in fire. The deal is simple, a brand new, reforged body for him to use. In exchange, he has to help the consciousness get back what it lost. It's not like he has many options. If he refuses, his soul will just scatter into nothingness. Lin Du doesn't need much convincing. He's ready to jump back in. He agrees to the deal. As long as he can make everyone who betrayed him pay, he's willing to pay any price. He reaches out and touches the flaming parchment, sealing the pact. Fire surges through him, consuming his old spirit to forge something new. He wakes up in a dark cavern on the 6th floor of the void abyss. He's got a new look and a red tattoo on his neck. The consciousness is still with him, now appearing as a small shadow blob called the proxy spirit. Lin Du tests out his new limbs, but he's not exactly impressed. The proxy spirit isn't happy about his ungrateful attitude. Lin Du ignores the complaints, more interested in why all his stats are showing up as question marks. The spirit explains that his stats are suppressed and his skill tree is completely locked. He's starting over from scratch with 0 skills. Lin Du realizes he's basically a level 0 now. He just killed a demon spider and didn't get a single point of experience. The proxy spirit tells him that standard levels and experience are useless for him now. Instead, a new metric appears on his system's screen, Divinity. He's currently sitting at a pathetic 0.25%. Lin Du has never heard of this Divinity system before. The spirit explains that Divinity measures his synchronization with his new body. The higher it goes, the more power he can handle. To raise it, he needs to secure first kills on different bosses throughout the abyss. Or he can hunt down the proxies of other gods. That sounds like way more fun. Even killing their believers will do the trick. No one is safe. Lin Du's eyes narrow. He finally has a clear path forward. He looks at the 0.25% progress and scoffs. It's a drop in the bucket. He's already planning his next move. Killing Gu Yunting and his crew is going to be his main source of power. The proxy spirit warns him to slow down. Gu Yunting is level 199, and Lin Du's current vessel can't handle anything over level 100 yet. He needs way more divinity. Lin Du isn't taking orders. He points out that the proxy spirit needs this divinity just as much as he does. The spirit just tells him to be careful. Being too smart can be a death sentence in a place like this. Lin Du shrugs off the proxy spirit's warning, treating the upcoming grind as nothing more than a warm-up. There's no time to waste. He sets off, his boots echoing against the cold stone of the abyss. He decides to start from the very first floor, intent on farming every single boss on his way up. 3 days later, in the bustling player hubs, rumors are already starting to spread about a strange newcomer. A young woman with silver pigtails overhears the conversation, her curiosity piqued by the mention of a level 0 player. The unnamed silver girl jumps into the group, eager to hear more about this mysterious weirdo they bumped into on the 13th floor. The guard, Niswibian, explains that some lunatic has been tearing through dungeons for the past 2 days. What's truly insane is that he's doing it all solo while still being at level 0, a feat that should be impossible. The guard realizes the description perfectly matches the man known as Lin Du. The unnamed silver girl can hardly believe he's already reached the 13th floor in such a short amount of time, especially while soloing. Meanwhile, on the 19th floor of the void abyss, Lin Du faces off against a massive level 40 giant stone guard. The behemoth smashes its rocky fist down, but Lin Du is already airborne, easily clearing the impact zone. He lands gracefully atop the creature's arm, his expression bored. With a smirk, he draws his sword, ready to end this battle quickly. He carves through the stone giant with surgical precision, leaving a web of glowing blue slashes in his wake. Despite the victory, Lin Du is frustrated. 19 bosses in, and his divinity has only crawled up to 2.85%. The proxy spirit interrupts his brooding to announce a new skill. A set of skill cards appears before him. He recognizes 100-Blade Strike from his past life, while Insight is useless to someone who already knows every monster's weak point. The third skill, Plunder, catches his eye. It allows him to forcibly extract high-value items, skills, or equipment from defeated targets. This is exactly what he needs to speed things up. He clenches his fist, a dark grin spreading across his face. He soon arrives at the entrance to the 20th floor, but he finds the path blocked by a group of players. Two level 50 Lancers, Naiswibian and Wu Xiuwei, step forward and demand to see his entry pass. Lin Du has never even heard of a pass being required for these floors. Naiswibian scoffs, calling him a bumpkin, and telling him there's no entry past the 20th floor without a pass. The other guard realizes this might be the legendary Player Zero everyone has been talking about lately. Naiswibian laughs at his partner's cowardice, mocking him for being scared of a loser with a rusted iron sword. He turns back to Lin Du, taunting him to prove all the hype is real. He sneers, telling Lin Du to drop to his knees and kowtow if he wants a chance to walk away. Lin Du's gaze turns ice cold. He's finished listening to this small fry. In a flash of red light, Lin Du strikes, his blade moving faster than the guards can track. Naiswibian freezes as the shockwave of the attack passes through him. System warnings flash red before his eyes. His health has plummeted below 5% in a single hit. He collapses to the ground, clutching his chest in absolute agony. Lin Du looks down at him with pure disdain, asking why he isn't demanding that kowtow anymore. He extends his hand, a swirling purple vortex of energy forming as he activates his new skill, Plunder. Naiswibian's eyes go wide with terror as he feels something being torn from his soul. He screams as his hard-earned skills begin to vanish one by one. The plunder is a total success. Lin Du feels the energy transfer finishing. A golden card appears in his hand, an intermediate pass for the Firmament Alliance. Not only did he get the pass, but he also snatched a passive skill called Resolute Guardian that boosts defense when health is low. Naiswibian trembles, calling Lin Du a monster for being able to strip away bound items. Lin Du ignores the trembling man's cries, his focus solely on his next move. He presses his sword against the guard's throat, ready to get the answers he needs. Naiswibian begs for mercy, his hands raised in surrender as Lin Du's blade remains steady and cold. Lin Du doesn't care for pleas. He demands to know the origin of the pass system they're enforcing. Trembling, Naiswibian reveals that Gu Yunting himself established the system a century ago, claiming it was for the protection of ordinary explorers. He explains that the Firmament Alliance now holds absolute control over every major resource point beyond the 20th floor. Lin Du remains silent, his expression unreadable as he processes the guard's words. His mind drifts back to the history, or perhaps his own memories, of the day the 20th floor was first conquered a century ago. In the past, Lin Du sat triumphantly atop a fallen dragon, while a younger Gu Yunting questioned the need for a guide. Lin Du ordered the routes to be published immediately, refusing to hoard the knowledge for himself. Gu Yunting, acting as a loyal subordinate, hailed his captain as a saint for his supposed selflessness. Lin Du maintained that the void abyss belonged to everyone, and its treasures were there for anyone with the courage to take them. He shared his motto with Yunting, "The strong pave the way and the weak follow." It was a creed of leadership, not oppression. Back in the present, Lin Du's blood boils at how his words and actions were twisted. His eyes glow with a vengeful red light as he screams the traitor's name in his mind. He scoffs at the notion of protection, knowing full well the dark truth behind the Alliance's propaganda. To Lin Du, it's clear that Gu Yunting never intended to help anyone. He only wanted to turn the world into his private playground. Seeing an opening, Naiswibian attempts to crawl away and escape the cold fury emanating from the swordsman. Lin Du stops him instantly, his voice dripping with menace as he asks the guard if he gave him permission to leave. He mocks the guard's terror, wondering aloud if he's truly that frightening to a level 50 player. Crouching down, he demands the pass be handed over immediately. Naiswibian can only nod in frantic agreement. Lin Du takes the stolen pass to a nearby access terminal, hoping it will grant him entry to the next floor. The machine buzzes loudly as a red "Access Denied" message flashes. The pass is bound strictly to its owner's ID. Lin Du's brow furrows in annoyance. Naiswibian sheepishly mentions that bound items can't be used by others, earning a sharp glare for not speaking up sooner. Sometime later, a cheerful voice rings out, surprised that Lin Du has finally made contact. Su Qingyu appears, her silver pigtails swaying as she teases him about his growing reputation in the scavenger circle. She leans in close, nodding his characteristic silence with a playful smirk. Lin Du simply stares back, already focused on his next objective. Su Qingyu grew impatient and waved him over. She gives him a grand welcome to the Firmament Alliance branch, explaining they handle everything from trading items to appraising player gear. She gets curious and asks Lin Du what brought him here so suddenly. He just gives a cryptic smirk in response. Lin Du admits he's just looking to fence some loot he picked up. The Firmament Alliance Service Hall. It's the busiest spot in Pingjiang for anyone trying to make it in this world. Someone slams 2 high-tier golden passes down on the counter. Lin Du tells the receptionist he needs the owner info on these 2 passes changed to his. The machine beeps a warning. The lady is confused. These passes are already bound to someone else. She asks where he got them, but Lin Du isn't in the mood for a Q&A session. He tells her he's in a hurry and to just do the transfer. The receptionist snaps back. Stealing bound items is a major violation, and she isn't about to break the rules for him. Before things get ugly, Su Qingyu steps in to smooth things over. She claims Lin Du is an elite mercenary, her guild hired for a classified mission. The receptionist freezes. The Red Lion Guild isn't a name you ignore. One look at the guild badge, and she knows she's dealing with the real deal. She immediately changes her tone. You don't mess with the strongest independent guild in the game. She tells them to follow her, while Su Qingyu tells Lin Du to quit drawing attention. Wiping past data is usually impossible, but they'll make an exception since the guild is acting as a guarantor. But first, Lin Du has to register his identity in their system. The world is divided into 7 tiers. Level 1 to 20 are the scavengers stuck at Iron tier. Bronze, Silver, and Gold follow, with Platinum reserved for the elites above level 110. The higher the tier, the more power and money you control. It's a strict hierarchy. Then there are authority players, the proxies of gods who play by an entirely different set of rules. They lead him to an Iron tier authenticator. This thing is expensive and supposedly foolproof. It's never malfunctioned once. It can accurately identify anyone under level 100. All he has to do is put his hand on the scanner. Su Qingyu whispers to him to go easy. If he breaks the machine, they're in deep trouble. Lin Du steps up, looking completely unfazed. He places his hand on the pad to start the scan. The machine starts to process, but the screen is a mess of glitches and interference. Red warning boxes flood the screen. Something is very wrong. The system can't even begin to parse his stats. It's a total error. Suddenly, the whole authenticator just gives up and explodes in a burst of light. Smoke fills the hall. Every player in the room is frozen in shock. The receptionist is on the floor, terrified. That machine was supposed to handle even top-tier experts. Su Qingyu just sighs. She knew he'd end up breaking something. An executive named Pei Yuan walks in, demanding to know what the hell just happened. Lin Du casually tells him the equipment is garbage, since it blew up the second he touched it. He realizes the machine just can't handle his suppressed divinity or his new body. The display finally spits out a result, and Pei Yuan takes a look. He stares at the screen for a second, trying to make sense of the data. Then he just bursts out laughing. He thinks he was worried about a nobody. He figures the scanner fried itself because Lin Du has no stats worth reading. He mocks him right to his face, calling him a level 0 scavenger and a total freak. The crowd starts laughing along. One guy brags his stats were higher the day he was born. Someone brings up rumors of a level 0 soloing the first 20 floors, but they all dismiss it. They think he's just an embarrassment to Su Qingyu. Su Qingyu has finally had enough of the mocking. She makes it crystal clear. Anyone who says another word is making an enemy of the Red Lion Guild. The crowd is stunned. They can't understand why a top-tier expert is going to bat for a level 0 loser. She doesn't give them a chance to respond, demanding the receptionist process their passes manually right now. Internally, she's sweating bullets. She isn't trying to protect Lin Du. She's trying to keep him from losing his temper and leveling the entire building. The receptionist quickly hands over the new pass, eager to be done with the whole situation. Lin Du takes the pass and heads for the exit without a word. Once they're safe in a quiet alleyway, Su Qingyu nearly collapses from the stress of it all. Lin Du looks back, asking if she really thinks he's some kind of violent maniac. She just stares at him. He didn't even notice the insults. To him, the whole thing was just a boring farce. A sudden shout echoes through the alley. Someone is getting a brutal beatdown nearby. Su Qingyu asks what's wrong, but Lin Du is already focused on the confrontation happening just ahead. A group of Alliance Knights have cornered a tattered figure in a green cloak. Pei Yuan kicks a bowl out of the man's hand. He mocks him, saying the person he's waiting for died a century ago. The man on the ground is Lu Xingyi. Pei Yuan tells him his life is nothing but rot and incurable sickness. Despite the beating, Lu slowly starts to pull himself up from the pavement. Pei Yuan keeps the insults coming, calling him a pathetic cripple chasing after a ghost. He calls him a total disgrace to every other authority player out there. Lu Xingyi glares back. He knows exactly who the real traitors are, and it isn't him. Pei Yuan's face twists in rage. He isn't used to a piece of trash talking back to him. He grabs Lu by the collar and hauls him up. He screams at him, calling him a pathetic wretch who can't even afford basic medicine. He slams the old man against the brick wall with a sickening thud. Lu doesn't make a sound, just glares through the shadows of his hood. Pei Yuan backhands him, sending him reeling back toward the wall. Lu hits the ground hard, his body barely holding together. Pei Yuan looks at his hand with disgust. He thinks even looking at Lu is an eyesore. He tells his boys to teach this relic a lesson so they can get a reward from Selena. One of the knights steps forward, his holy amulet beginning to glow with magical energy. But before he can move, the amulet suddenly shatters into tiny pieces. The knight is completely blindsided, staring at the empty cord around his neck. Pei Yuan panics. That was a rebirth amulet from Lady Selena. It's only supposed to break if it absorbs a lethal strike. He draws his weapons, looking around wildly for the hidden attacker. Out of the shadows, a masked figure walks toward them. His eyes are glowing with a cold, red light. It's Lin Du, and he looks like he's ready to kill. He stops right in front of the whole squad, completely outnumbered and totally unimpressed. Pei Yuan tries to play it cool, laughing off his fear. He thinks Lin Du just landed a lucky shot from the dark. He orders his men to kill the stray dog on the spot. A knight fires a condensed flame bullet, a massive stream of fire aimed straight at Lin Du's head. The fire roars through the narrow alley, lighting up the walls with a hellish glow. Lin Du doesn't even flinch. He just stomps his foot, cracking the pavement beneath him. The ground shatters as he prepares to move. Lin Du moves with blinding speed, a streak of shadow in the narrow alley. Before the knights can even react, he slashes through their ranks with effortless precision. A massive force erupts from his strike, blowing the armored men back like leaves in a storm. Pei Yuan watches in pure horror. He can't wrap his head around how a basic attack just decimated a level 60 heavy knight. Before he can even process the fear, Lin Du is already right in front of him. A brutal blow to the face sends Pei Yuan spinning through the air, his arrogance shattered along with his composure. The blonde knight tries to catch him off guard, leaping from above with her dual blades drawn. Lin Du doesn't even look up. He disarms her in one fluid motion and sends her crashing to the ground. She slams into a pile of wooden crates, her weapons clattering uselessly against the pavement. Pei Yuan wipes blood from his mouth, screaming for his men to regroup and use the sanctuary chains to lock him down. Magic circles flare to life on the ground, and glowing orange chains burst forth to bind the intruder. The heavy links wrap tightly around Lin Du's body, but he doesn't struggle. He just looks at the restraints with cold indifference. Thinking he's finally won, Pei Yuan lets out a maniacal laugh and orders his men to finish the job. Lin Du just tilts his head, his glowing eyes fixed on the man. "That's it," he asks calmly. With a single thought, he activated a high-level skill, a barrage of slashes erupting from Lin Du's body. Skill 100 Blade Strike. A storm of invisible blades erupts from him, shredding through everything in their path. The chains shatter like glass, as the knights are torn apart by the relentless barrage of steel. Silence returns to the alleyway, leaving only the sound of groans and the sight of a defeated squad littering the ground. Lin Du turns away from the carnage, his focus shifting back to the tattered man huddled in the corner. He slowly walks toward the figure, each step heavy with a century of memories. The man, Lu Xingyi, looks up through his scarred and clouded eyes, his voice trembling with uncertainty. In that moment, Lin Du sees him as he was 100 years ago, a bright-eyed boy eager to please his master. "Xingyi," he whispers, the name tasting like ash and regret. He looks at the brutal scar and the frail state of his former disciple, wondering what hell the man has endured in his absence. Lu Xingyi remains on the ground, his body broken and his spirit seemingly even more so. He looks away, his voice filled with a deep, inexplicable shame. "I'm sorry," he mutters. To Lin Du, the world seems to blur as he looks at the wreckage of the person he once mentored. Lu tells him that his sight is failing. Even with the stranger standing right there, he can't make out his face. Thunder rumbles overhead, and a cold rain begins to fall, washing away the blood on the pavement. Still unaware of who saved him, Lu offers a weak word of thanks to the mysterious stranger for intervening. The scene shifts back a century to a scavenger settlement during the 10th year of the Void Abyss descent. A young boy desperately clutches a glowing red stone, pleading with a group of bullies not to steal his find. The leader of the gang just laughs, claiming that everything in this territory belongs to his father. They shove the boy aside and run off with the prize, cheering over their easy victory. One of the lackeys asks if they're being too cruel, but the leader doesn't care about a worthless orphan. His arrogance is short-lived as he runs smack into a solid wall of a man, Lin Du himself. The bully hits the dirt, looking up in shock at the imposing figure who just blocked his path. From the ground, the young boy watches with tear-filled eyes as a stranger stands up for him. Lin Du looks down at the shivering child, his expression unreadable behind his casual demeanor. He holds up the stolen fire crystal, the red light reflecting in the boy's wide, amazed eyes. With a playful smirk, he tells the kid that the crystal is his now, watching for a reaction. He promises to give it back, if the boy can give him a good enough reason why he should. The young boy's eyes light up with pure joy as he realizes the stranger isn't going to hurt him. "Really?" he exclaims. "You really are a good person." He looks down bashfully, revealing his secret. I have an innate passive skill called divine vision. Its effect marks high-value materials within a 100-meter radius. He explains his lonely struggle, admitting that no one will team up with him because of his low level and lack of gear. "I want to scavenge materials to forge my own weapon," he says softly. "That way, I'll finally be able to enter dungeons." Lin Du holds the glowing fire crystal out to the boy, who looks at it with a mix of awe and disbelief. "You can't just use a fire crystal directly for forging," Lin Du warns him. A knowing smirk plays on Lin Du's face as he shares his expertise. "If you just melt it together with some scrap iron, you won't just fail to forge a blade. You'll blow your fingers off." He looks at the boy with a genuine, inviting smile. "How about you stick with me? I'll teach you how to take this broken stone and turn it into a blade sharp enough to slay bosses." Suspicious of the sudden kindness, the boy asks why a stranger would want to help him. Lin Du just scoffs, telling him to stop asking questions. "I'm doing it because I feel like it. Got a problem with that?" As they walk away from the junk piles together, Lin Du asks for the kid's name. The boy looks at the ground, admitting he doesn't have one. Everyone just calls him Orphan. Lin Du stops and looks back at the small boy following in his shadow. "Then I'll give you a name," he decides, his voice firm yet kind. With the setting sun casting long shadows, Lin Du offers a hand. "From this day forth, your name is Lu Xingyi." It was a simple beginning to a bond that would span a century. A master and a disciple walking together toward an uncertain future. The memory fades into the harsh reality of the present. Lin Du stands in the cold rain, watching the broken version of that same boy. Lu Xingyi bows his head, apologizing because he still has important matters to attend to. Lin Du stops him, his voice laced with concern as he asks about the horrific injuries and the loss of his sight. The man just offers a weary, rain-soaked smile. "Thank you for your concern," he says, his heart clearly heavy with his own burdens. "Someone very important to me went missing. I've been looking for him and ended up getting in some people's way." He turns to leave, admitting that he was the one responsible for most of his own suffering. Lin Du watches him walk away, the sound of his footsteps splashing in the puddles. Lin Du lowers his mask slightly, his eyes filled with a deep, quiet pain. "All right," he whispers, letting his disciple go for now. He watches Lu's retreating figure, his silhouette fading into the gloom of the alleyway. "The rain is heavy. Be careful on your way," he calls out. Lu Xingyi pauses for a brief second, offering a short acknowledgement before disappearing into the downpour. Lin Du stands alone in the rain, his thoughts a whirlwind of conflict. He wanted to tell Xingyi who he was, to ask what happened while he was gone, but the timing is all wrong. He realizes that in his current state, Lu is too fragile to handle the weight of Lin Du's past or the enemies he has made. He can't drag him back into those old grudges. He knows his disciple too well. If he asked about the injuries now, Lu would never tell him the truth. His attention shifts to the mud, where one of the knights, Selina's lackey, is desperately trying to crawl away from the scene. The lackey is fuming, unable to believe someone actually dared to help the old geezer. He vows to report everything to Lady Selina as soon as he gets back. Before he can crawl another inch, a heavy boot comes down on his hand with a sickening crunch. The alley echoes with his agonized scream as his plans for betrayal are cut short. Lin Du stands over one of the surviving lackeys in the rain, pinning the man's hand to the pavement with his boot. The guy screams in pain, begging for mercy while claiming they were only following Lady Selina's orders. From behind his mask, Lin Du's eye glows a cold red as he demands to know exactly where Selina is hiding. Terrified, the lackey blurts out that she's at the tribunal, a floating palace right above the city. Lin Du just gives a short nod and grips the hilt of his sword. The man continues to plead for his life, swearing he'll never report this back to his lady. He tries to hide behind the city rules, reminding Lindu that killing other players is strictly forbidden. The rules don't matter anymore. A single flash of steel cuts through the rain and the man's throat. A broken blade is left embedded in the ground next to the fresh corpse. Lindu crushes a piece of debris in his fist, his mind set on the debt he's about to collect for himself and his disciple. High above the city's modern skyscrapers, the massive floating fortress of the tribunal sits within a lightning storm, marking Lindu's next destination.